Okay, welcome. Today we're going to practice, and I'll throw a few jargon words at you. The Medicine Buddha Sadhana. So a sadhana is presented as a series of paragraphs or verses, if you like. And you all should have a copy of, do you all have copies of the Sadhana in front? Or if you don't, we need to get copies of the Sadhana. And so Heinz and Cheng are organising copies, so everybody has a copy. So we're doing what's called the Medicine Buddha Sadhana Generation Front. Sadhana is a Sanskrit word, and it loosely translates as practice. So the sadhana, which Cheng and Heinz are sourcing, is about 5 pages long, 5 or 6 pages. And what we do with the practice is it's on page 73. Is the way it's done is there are words. We recite the words together. When we recite the words quietly, we don't have to recite them, whatever you prefer. And then in conjunction with the recitation, then we pause and practice meditation on the different subjects that are explained in the sadhana. So today's fantastic, a wonderful day, because for over a year there's been the temple's been closed because of a virus you might have heard about, and we haven't been able to join together for classes or for meditation. And this is probably the first longer meditation practice we've done in the temple since it became possible, since things opened up. So it's a fantastic opportunity, really good, and it's a beautiful day too. I was exchanging messages with a friend, a monk at Quieten Tantric College in South India. I think Quieten Monastery it's a small monastery, it only has 500 resident monks. And I was asking him how things were going with COVID. And he said there's no COVID at the monastery, and that they have very sort of strict controls in terms of coming and going. And he said that not normally, especially in the tantric colleges, the monks gather regularly to do sadhana practice. And at the tantric college, the sadhana practice takes 3 days. And they get up early in the morning. They probably do something like 4 3-hour sessions during the day. And during those 3-hour sessions, they're not allowed to, I'm not saying we're going to do this here, but they're not allowed to move. They're not allowed, the discipline's very strong, very strict in the tantric colleges, most strict compared to the other monasteries. So during the 3-hour session, they're not allowed to move, they're not allowed to look around, they're not allowed to get up and go to the toilet. They're there to do their sadhana practice. So that doesn't apply here, of course. If people want to move, if you want to stretch, if you want to go from a cushion to a chair, that's fine. We're not a tantric monastery. But he said, that's one of their main practices. The other things they do, they attend teachings, and they do debating on tantric subjects. So all of the group activities at Quieten Monastery are suspended because of COVID. And so there's no coming and going from the monastery. Everybody's basically has to keep to themselves. Enforced social distancing. So my friend Pemba, he said at the moment we can only we have to stay in our rooms. Yeah, he said that's a good opportunity for personal study. So for people who are interested in Buddhist study and meditation, then finding time to do practice is considered really good opportunity. Generally, we're very busy, and both in body and mind, and so to settle the body and settle the mind it's an unusual opportunity. And I don't know about for you, but for me, being here in the temple, there's something particularly nice about being in the temple, doing practice in the temple compared with doing it just at home. So we'll begin with some relaxation meditation to quieten the mind. If you're sitting on the ground, then that's good. If you can sit in the Vajra position as indicated by images of the Buddha, such as Guru Shakyamuni Buddha behind me, that's fantastic. I can't, but if you can, that's really good. But also sitting on a chair also is good. At such a time when we are developing deep, profound concentration meditation, then the ability to sit in half lotus or in Vajra position becomes more important. But for us trainees, it's not important, not significant. So we're going to be doing 2 1.25 hour sessions, which means this first session will finish at 3:15, and the second session will resume at 3:45. We'll have a half-hour break in between. So that's sort of quite a long time to be sitting. So being comfortable is important, because what we want to do is direct our mind towards the object of concentration. But if our back is aching, our knees are sore, whatever, neck sore, whatever, then that can distract from the meditation. So sitting comfortable is important. The ideal meditation position, and the reason that the Buddha is commonly depicted in that position is as shown by the Buddha, and part of that is to have a very straight back, but not sort of a military ramrod straight back, just a relaxed straight back, particularly the lower part of the back straight and comfortably supported. If we think I'm relaxing and I want to sit in a nice relaxing position, sort of lying back or even lying down on a bed or whatever, that's not a good position for meditation. That's a good position for sleep. And sleep is an enemy of meditation or an opponent to meditation, in as much as it's a manifestation of extreme mental and physical lethargy. And the mind of meditation, the mind of concentration, is calm, relaxed, energetic, and clear. So the mind of meditation is quite different to the mind asleep. Therefore, lying back promotes drowsiness. Having a straight back promotes concentration and clarity. Our hands are resting in our lap with the thumbs touching gently, elbows held away from the sides of the body. That allows air to circulate more freely around the body, which is also good for physical and mental alertness. Shoulders are settled into a natural position. It's very easy to subconsciously brace or tighten the muscles in the neck and shoulder area. The head is inclined forward somewhat. If it's completely upright, that promotes the other opponent to concentration, which is agitation and excitement. And if it's too far forward, then that causes dullness. So it's in between. The mouth is resting shut in a natural position with the tongue against the front upper palate. Eyes are half closed and loosely focused, directed downward along the bridge of the nose. However, if we find it sort of uncomfortable to have the eyes half closed, then we can close them completely. The reason for half closed is having them completely open promotes excitement. Having them completely closed promotes dullness. So again, we check our posture, making sure that our back is nice but comfortably straight. We're not slouching, and that our shoulders are just settled. Then we'll begin with breathing meditation. The purpose of this is to settle the mind prior to the main practice. So while breathing normally, not trying to regulate or control the breath, we focus our attention on the sensation of the breath passing through the nostrils. As we breathe in, we observe, now I'm breathing in. As we breathe out, we observe, now I am breathing out. And by observing our breath, this is quite different to the way that we normally observe things, because the way we normally observe things is we concentrate somewhat or focus somewhat on the observed object. We have other parts of the mind are aware of other things. But with meditation, in this case meditation on the breath, what we're aiming to do is that the only object appearing to mind is the breath. All other thoughts, all other mental chatter are suspended. What we will find is, though intending to focus on the breath, our mind will wander. Normally, if the mind wanders, we let it. We don't try to draw it back. We just allow it to wander. But with meditation, wandering mind is an opponent. So, an obstacle. So when the mind does wander off the object, in this case the breath, we quite deliberately refocus firmly on the breath. Then we'll recite the homage and preliminary prayers just in English. and then we'll pause to meditate on those briefly. If you want to recite, join in, then you're welcome to. If you don't want to, that's fine also. Page 73 of the prayer book. So we begin with homage. I prostrate my head to the feet of the King of Medicine, who removes all diseases, plagues, hindrances, and untimely death, who, with great compassion, dispels the suffering of all beings, and who has attained enlightenment through great joyous effort. Gentle, with bodhicitta never discarding beings, pure, not afflicted by attachment, hatred, and so forth, wise, knowing conventional and ultimate truth precisely, I touch my head to the feet of the precious lineage gurus. Through great love leading all beings to bliss, with great perseverance achieving supreme enlightenment, with great wisdom removing the two obscurations, I prostrate to my kind root guru. So I'll just pause briefly. So here there are three objects of respect or homage. First is Medicine Buddha. I'll talk more about Medicine Buddha shortly. So we may pay respect to Medicine Buddha. Made the vow to remove sickness, illness, plagues, and so forth. Then we pay respect to the lineage gurus or lineage teachers, which is the lineage of teachers from Guru Shakyamuni Buddha 2,600 years ago. His teachings initially went to Tibet around about the 8th century through Shantarakshita, and also lineage gurus with each lineage teacher or guru transmitting the practice to their student all the way through to modern time. So the Medicine Buddha practice has an unbroken lineage or sequence of gurus from our present teacher all the way back through Tibet, India, back to Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha. So in particular, we're paying respect to the medicine gurus through whom the teachings of Medicine Buddha practice were transmitted. And then finally, for those of us who are Buddhist, for those of us who have a guru, we generate the mind of respect and devotion for our kind root guru. Who is the source of all happiness for ourselves. Who taught us Medicine Buddha practice, who composed the Sadhana, who established the center and temple, and so forth. Then we recite the Refuge and Bodhichitta prayer 3 times in English. To the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I go for refuge until becoming enlightened. Through the merit of my generosity and so on, may I achieve Buddhahood to benefit all beings. To the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I go for refuge until becoming enlightened. Through the merit of my generosity and so on, may I achieve Buddhahood to benefit all beings. To the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I go for refuge until becoming enlightened. Through the merit of my generosity and so on, may I achieve Buddhahood to benefit all beings. So we'll pause and meditate on a refuge and bodhicitta. So refuge and bodhicitta are subjects that are relevant for those who are Buddhist and require interpretation for those who are not Buddhist. All practice, including sadhana practice, should commence with refuge, because only through refuge is our practice Buddhist, and should commence with bodhicitta, because only through bodhicitta does our practice become a Mahayana Buddhist practice. For those who are not Buddhist, that's fine. The Medicine Buddha practice is still very helpful, but even if not Buddhist, try to cultivate a good-hearted, altruistic motivation, thinking, may this practice eliminate all the sickness, plague, epidemic, COVID-19 virus, cancer, stroke, and so forth, of myself and all living beings. For those who are Buddhist, then we develop refuge. Which is dependent on two objects. Firstly, the mind of renunciation, which is the mind that recognizes that whilst we remain within worldly existence, cyclic existence, we cannot avoid misery and suffering. Furthermore, most of the places within cyclic existence are permeated by gross or manifest physical suffering. If we stop and contemplate, for example, the experience of animals, most animals are food for other animals. They live in continuous fear of being attacked and eaten, killed, and so forth. Animals are used and abused by human beings. Also, we contemplate human experience. whilst we here are enjoying unbelievable good conditions, comfort, beautiful environment, this is not the human norm. Consider the situation of those in India, where the epidemic is rife. Generally speaking, 2/3 of human beings live below the poverty line. So if we think in ways like this, we gain an appreciation that to think that cyclic existence is a source of happiness is a completely mistaken view. Cyclic existence, worldly existence, is riven with suffering and unhappiness. There's nowhere within cyclic existence, in this world or in another world, where sustained, enduring, unending happiness can be found. All of the happiness and enjoyment within cyclic existence are fleeting. They arise, last for a few moments or a few minutes, and then end. The mind of renunciation is recognizing that through the practice of meditation, it's possible to achieve liberation from cyclic existence and complete enlightenment. We develop a strong wish to abandon samsara, to abandon cyclic existence. This is the mind of renunciation. Then the mind of refuge is thinking, how shall I escape samsara? Relying on the perfect teacher, the Buddha, the perfect practice, the Dharma, and the perfect support or guide, the Arya Sangha. Then quickly, I will progress through the meditation paths and grounds to the perfected state of Buddhahood. Therefore, with deep respect, devotion, I place my trust in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Recognizing that cyclic existence is to be avoided for myself, and similarly, cyclic existence brings exactly the same sufferings to all other sentient beings. It would be a complete mistake to focus solely on our own well-being. So with the mind of compassion, wishing all beings to be free of suffering, and recognizing that when we achieve the perfected state, enlightenment, Buddhahood, we will be able to bring immeasurable benefit to others. We develop the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, thinking through this practice, the reason that I'm doing this practice is for the welfare of others. The primary goal is the welfare of others. And the secondary objective is, in order to achieve this goal, I myself must become a completely perfected, enlightened being. This is the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta. For that purpose, today I practice the meditation and the recitation of the Medicine Buddha Sadhana. So I'd just like to talk a little bit about Medicine Buddha practice. So the system of Medicine Buddha practice dates back, Christine? Sorry? COVID rules. Quietly. Okay. Thank you. So the Medicine Buddha practice was taught by the historical Buddha, Guru Shakyamuni Budda, 2,600 years ago, as a practice, particularly for treating one's own sufferings, illness, disease, so forth, and also as a practice for people who work in medical practitioners, as a practice for them who are looking after others. The Medicine Buddha, is there a painting of the Medicine Tanka? Like up there at the back? And there's one up there too, is there? So the Medicine Buddha is the blue Buddha, lapis lazuli, blue-coloured Buddha. The Medicine Buddha, in the same way that Guru Shakyamuni Buddha originally was an ordinary person, as are we, and through the practice of meditation, principally the practice of practice motivated by conventional bodhicitta, the wish to achieve Buddhahood, then meditating on ultimate bodhicitta, emptiness of person and other phenomena, then and also through the practice of the accumulation of merit through the 6 perfections, then Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, over many lifetimes, progressed through the path and gained the perfected state of enlightenment. This same perfected state of enlightenment, which is also called Buddhahood, is equally accessible to all ourselves and all living beings. If we practice in the same way that previous historical Buddhas and current practitioners are practicing, then we can gain primarily through the practice of meditation, we can gain various meditative accomplishments, and then progress through the Buddhist path. And then we too, because we have Buddha potential, we also can gain complete enlightenment, Buddhahood. So, Buddha potential, what is Buddha potential? It's that we have a mind. The mind is that which is aware and knowing, that which observes phenomena, objects of sight, sound, so forth, object of hearing. So we have a mind. That mind is not fixed. If it were fixed, then we couldn't change it. But it's not fixed, it does change. And furthermore, it can change in ways that we want it to change. Through correct training, it is possible to achieve any accomplishment through the practice of meditation. So the Buddha potential of two types, natural potential and developed potential. Developed potential is the habits or the nascent positive minds of love, compassion, wisdom, and so forth, which can be trained. And the natural potential actually is that the mind is dependent, it's not fixed, is empty of inherent existence, and so is not locked. There is no accomplishment of mind which is beyond us. So this, in brief, is Buddha potential. So the way of developing our Buddha potential, the way of training the mind, the principal way is through the practice of meditation, which is why there are thousands, tens of thousands maybe, of Buddhist practitioners in this world today who are practicing many hours of meditation a day, or several hours of meditation a day. And there are some fortunate ones who are doing a retreat, maybe solitary 3-year retreat, including in Australia, and they would be practicing probably around about 12 hours meditation a day. They're dedicated their practice to meditation. So the historical Buddha, through his practice, Guru Shakyamuni Budda, don't have time to talk about his life. He gained Buddhahood, but also another Buddha before his medicine Buddha also was an ordinary being who, through application to practice, achieved complete enlightened Buddhahood. So the medicine Buddha took 12 vows, or made 12 commitments when he was a Bodhisattva. A Bodhisattva is somebody who has totally and completely abandoned any interest or concern for their own welfare. Only everything is motivated by the wish to benefit others, and who, in order to achieve that wish, dedicates all of their energy, all of their activities towards achieving complete enlightenment, Buddhahood. So a Bodhisattva is a very unusual person. The realization of bodhicitta, which is developed through meditation, is a very difficult realization to gain. We begin with a little bit of compassion. Everybody has a little bit of compassion. It might be compassion for themselves only to start off with, unfortunate ones. They want themselves to be free of suffering. And they have a little bit more compassion is they want themselves and their close friends to be free of suffering. Or more compassion, they see the suffering, whenever they see the sufferings of others, they wish, whenever they contemplate the sufferings of others, they wish for them also to be free of suffering. So when we watch the news with images of the terrible situation with the pandemic in India, very confronting images, and we hear stories of Australians who wanted to come home, could not come home, could not get any care in hospitals in India and died. We think of people, not just Australians, also everybody in India generally, then it's easy to develop some compassion. May these people be free of their suffering. How terrible is that? This is compassion. Everybody has some compassion. And then through training the mind in compassion, primarily through meditation, this compassionate attitude becomes more and more who we are. We change from mainly being concerned about our own welfare to primarily being concerned about others. So the Bodhicitta has the Bodhisattva has the mind of great compassion, wishing to benefit others. So the person who was to become the medicine Buddha as a Bodhisattva made 12 commitments or 12 vows. The first one was, in my pure land, may all beings exhibit the 32 major and 80 minor marks. So they're basically the appearance or the physical attributes, the form attributes for the enlightened being, a Buddha. So as depicted by Guru Shakyamuni Budda behind me, such as, for example, Dharma chakras in the palms of their hands and the soles of their feet, 40 even white teeth, broad shoulders, so on and so forth. There are 40 majors. The crown protrusion, the curled hair on the forehead. There are 32 major signs and 80 minor marks. So the first vow the medicine Buddha took was, may all those who are reborn in his pure land achieve the same physical accomplishments. The second vow was, may all sentient beings born in my pure land radiate light to all sentient beings born in darkness. If this does not happen, may I not attain enlightenment. The third vow is, whoever is born in my pure land, may they all enjoy abundant resources, everything that they require. So what's a pure land? Basically, Buddhas, beings, when they achieve Buddhahood, they achieve the perfected form of a Buddha, and they also achieve a perfect environment. There are some pure lands where even though beings may not have high realizations, if they create the causes, then at the time of death they can be reborn in a pure land, such as the medicine Buddha's pure land Sukhavati. And pure land enjoy unbelievable good conditions and perfect circumstances for practice. The fourth vow that the medicine Buddha took was, may the beings in that pure land possess stable vision of pure view, which unmistakable view. If this does not happen, may I not reach enlightenment. The fifth vow is, I vow that I shall enable all sentient beings to observe the precept of pure morality and conduct. If there is any lapse, may they be guided to repentance. Through the rays of inspiration, may they be guided to renew their vows. So basically, pure morality and pure conduct means actions that are not harmful. Not harmful to oneself, not harmful to others. So ordinary beings, we don't have pure morality. Sometimes accidentally or intentionally, we commit actions of body and speech which harm others, such as stealing, lying, cheating, gossiping, and so forth. The sixth vow is, I vow that all sentient beings are physically disabled and mentally disabled. I will bless them and they will be relieved of their illness. And may they be relieved of their illness. Seventh vow, I vow to relieve all pain and poverty of the sick and poor. The sick will be cured, the poor will be assisted. The eighth vow, I vow to help women undergoing suffering, torture, discrimination, and so on. So this vow was made more than 2,600 years ago and has a certain contemporary resonance. By hearing my name, paying homage, may their wishes be granted, and ultimately they gain Buddhahood. So in Buddhism, there's no differentiation between male and female. Both equally have the ability to gain Buddhahood. And one of the really famous Buddhas is Tara, who made a vow to be reborn as a woman in every life until she gained enlightenment, Buddhahood. And she appears as a female Buddha. Ninth vow, I vow to free all beings from evil thought and its control. I shall lead them all to enlightenment through improving their honour and righteousness, that they walk the Buddha way. The 10th vow, I vow to save prisoners who have genuinely repented and victims of natural disaster. Those who are sincere be blessed by my power and relieved from suffering. The 11th vow was, I vow to save those who suffer from starvation and those who committed the crime to obtain food. If they hear my name and faithfully cherish it, I shall lead them to the advantages of Dharma and favour them with the best food and eventually lead a tranquil and happy life. The final vow, the 12th, I vow to suffer those who suffer from poverty, tormented by mosquitoes and wasps day and night. If they come across my name, cherish it with sincerity, and practice Dharma to strengthen their merits, they will be able to achieve their wishes. So how does the medicine Buddha help us? And this question can equally relates to how do enlightened beings help us. The causes of, from a Buddhist perspective, the causes of all of our bad conditions, ill health, unhappiness, anguish, mental states, and so forth, we actually created the causes of our own experience, not only of our negative experience, but also our positive experience. So, if you like, we are masters of our own destiny. In the same way that if we eat harmful food and live unhealthy lifestyles, then this will lead to ill health. If we create negative actions, that is harmful actions, primarily actions that harm others, then such actions result in subsequent future unhappiness for ourselves. If we say, why does this person seem to have so much happiness and enjoyment and unbelievable good conditions, and this person seems to have so much bad luck and misery and bad conditions? The difference is both of those, the Buddhism believes in a non-deceptive dependent relationship between cause and effect. So the effect, good conditions and happiness, has causes which were previously created by the person who is experiencing those good conditions, and similarly bad conditions and unhappiness. So what this means is, because each individual creates her or his own future experience, then enlightened beings, Buddhas or Bodhisattvas, they cannot take away our suffering. They cannot give us happiness. So from a Buddhist perspective is that enlightened beings from their own side are unconstrained, have limitless ability to benefit others, have no partiality, have equal love and compassion for all living beings. So if they were able to take away living being suffering and unhappiness, they would. And evidently, we don't have to think far, but now we can think about the pandemic. There's actually there are incomprehensible bad conditions and suffering in this world. It's just impossible to imagine, to wrap our mind around how much suffering there is in the world. So the Buddhists haven't taken away the suffering, and they can't. What they can do is, through providing correct advice and guidance, they can teach people, they can explain to people, if you act in this way, you will create causes of happiness. In the future, you will experience happiness. If you act the opposite, you will create causes of unhappiness, and in the future, experience unhappiness. Every living being wants happiness. No living being wants even a moment's unhappiness. But by and large, most of the time, most living beings experience one bad condition after another, and this is because of the term karma. So the principal way that enlightened beings assist is through giving teachings. One of the teachings or practices which is specifically for health and is very useful for those of us who are healthy to continue to be healthy, it's very useful. For those of us who are unhealthy and wish to recover from ill health, it's very useful. And for those people who are working in the healing practices, is Medicine Buddha. The practice of Medicine Buddha. So our own teacher, Sarah J. Geshe Acharya Loden, regularly would have people come to see him to discuss their health. They have problems with health. What can they do about their ill health? And commonly he would say, practice Medicine Buddha. So practicing Medicine Buddha, what does it mean to practice Medicine Buddha? To the best of our ability, the meditations in this sadhana, and in particular the recitation of the Medicine Buddha mantra in conjunction with visualization. So in the same way that medicines act and treatments act to support our health, are a condition for good health, practices such as Medicine Buddha meditation, Medicine Buddha mantra, Medicine Buddha visualization also is a support for good health. What causes ill health? From a Buddhist perspective, I think there's 424 imbalances in the body, which are direct physical causes of ill health. The imbalances, they talk about the imbalances in the various elements. So this maybe corresponds to modern Western medical view of health and causes of sickness. There are physical causes. Also, the Buddhist view is that the direct cause, the actual cause of ill health, is previously created negative karma. So for some people, well, talking about physical circumstances, there are obviously some physical ill health which cannot be cured. For example, paraplegia or quadriplegia is they are incurable. So if the physical damage is so bad, the health, they can't be cured. So it doesn't matter how devoted their practice is, how good for somebody who has ill health such that, how good their practice is. Through practicing medicine Buddha, they're not going to cease being a quadriplegic. Can't happen. Also, if the force of the negative karma is so strong, then the practice of medicine Buddha cannot cure their ill health. So the second cause of ill health is, the primary cause actually of ill health and all other negative circumstances, is negative karma. But through creating supporting conditions, the ripening of that negative karma can be stopped, slowed, weakened, or stopped. So the negative karma doesn't go away, but it stops producing the result, ill health, through supporting conditions. So the reason that people experience the suffering of COVID-19 is because they've created previous negative karma to experience the suffering of sickness, principally through harming others. And this previous negative karma, not in recent times, that actually goes back through previous lifetimes, actually. It's not typically not this life's activities. That negative karma will continue to produce the suffering sickness until it is exhausted. However, through treating the sickness, COVID-19, through remdesivir or steroids or whatever, oxygen, then the illness can be treated. The negative karma ceases to produce its result, suffering. That doesn't mean that the negative karma is gone, but it's changed from being active to being dormant. It will still be carried on the mental continuum and still have the potency to produce suffering in the future. So should we just sort of let the negative karma ripen and be exhausted and experience the sickness? No, we shouldn't. We want to have good health, long life, and good conditions, because they are the perfect situation to be able to practice. They're the ideal situation for practice. If we have those, then we can work for the benefit of others. We can have energy for our own meditation practice, our own study. We can progress on the path. At the moment, this situation that we human beings here have is unusual. It will not endure. It will come to an end. So having a long life and good health is absolutely beneficial. We can capitalize on that. We can purify negative karma. We can develop positive karma. We can eliminate causes of unhappiness. We can create causes of happiness. And for us, for Buddhists, we can create through the connection between non-deceptive dependent relationship between cause and effect, we can establish the foundations to be able to continue our practice in the next lifetime. So good health is really important for those things. Generally speaking, not generally speaking, by and large, ill health produces suffering, and everybody wishes to be free of suffering. So to be free of suffering and unhappiness itself is a worthy goal. So Geshe used to commonly encourage people who were sick, Buddhist or not Buddhist, to practice medicine Buddha. And there are many instances of students of his who practiced as he advised, who recovered. People we know, students of the centre. There are fellow students who who had serious illness, who practiced medicine Buddha, and who became better. Just one last story before we break. There was the architect who designed this temple, Ashoka. His daughter was a university student, but she became so ill that Ashoka abandoned his architecture practice. He couldn't work. He just devoted his life, his time to looking after his sick daughter. They tried everything to cure. They couldn't diagnose what was wrong with her. He came to see Geshe for advice. I'm not exactly sure what advice Geshe gave. Geshe did particular practices for himself. And then after that, her ill health turned around and she got better quite rapidly. So there's no guarantee, but certainly medicine Buddha practice is very effective. So what does it mean to do medicine Buddha practice? At the least, reciting a few mantras each day. Better, maybe 21 mantras each day. Better to recite 21 mantras with the visualization meditation that we will do in the next half of today's practice. Better still to do the mantra recitation and the visualization without distraction. So one part of mind doing visualization, the other part of mind thinking, I wonder how the footy's going today. Better still is to do the practice with belief. So if we have no confidence in the practice, we're just trying it out, we have no faith, then an absence of faith makes the practice powerful, an absence of faith makes the practice less powerful, weak. Better still is motivated by renunciation and bodhicitta. So the perfect practice, the perfect medicine Buddha practice, would be to do a brief practice of the sadhana each day, properly cultivating all of the minds that are described in the sadhana, and with the main part of the sadhana doing the medicine Buddha visualization. And as I said, but that may not be practical. Maybe we don't have the time to do that, and when we do try to meditate, our mind is completely distracted. But if we can do some belief and practice the mantra, then that will be very, very helpful. If we are Buddhist, if we have a guru, then we should imagine that we're practicing the medicine Buddha and our guru are by nature identical. So we have a half an hour break now. Tea and I'm sure cakes and biscuits next door. For those who are online, then we'll have some nice cakes and biscuits on your behalf. Or you can have some of your own if you like. Nice cup of tea. And we'll resume at a quarter to 4. So if your shoes are out the front, grab your shoes and come back and join us. And if you have any questions, then I want the next session to be devoted to meditation. So if any questions that you may have at this point, I'm happy to try to answer them.